Have you ever wondered why some people seem to struggle with your presence, even when you've done nothing to them? Why? The moment you begin to shine, there are those who make it their mission to dim your light. You carry no ill will. You operate with quiet purpose. Yet criticism and negativity can come from unexpected places, even those close to you, and you're left asking, why me? Let's explore an answer that many aren't ready to hear. It's often not you they truly dislike. It's what you embody. It's the inner calm they can't disrupt. It's the quiet strength you possess, the energy that precedes your very words. You weren't created to conform. You were designed to challenge false perceptions. And that challenge can feel unsettling to some. So they may try to minimize you, whisper behind your back, hoping you'll falter. But here's what they often fail to grasp. You don't break. You evolve. The concept of return is not a myth. It's a powerful principle. It's relentless, and it always finds its way back. Those who sow seeds of betrayal may find themselves burdened by their own actions. Those who mock another's difficulties may face their own challenges. And those who attempt to suppress you may ultimately witness your rise from the very situations they created. This isn't merely about justice. It's about truth asserting itself. So, if you ever felt targeted or doubted, understand that a cycle is in motion. The energy directed towards you must, by its nature, return. And you are not the one who will bear its negative consequences. You are a force they weren't prepared for. Stay with us, because what you're about to understand can shift your perspective on every challenge you face. If you're still here, it's not by chance. It suggests you've experienced the discomfort being singled out simply because you are authentic and possess qualities others cannot easily feign. This isn't just content, it's confirmation. They don't hate you because you've done something wrong. They resent that you didn't yield, didn't shrink, didn't seek their approval, and didn't collapse under their scrutiny. You stood firm, even in silence, and that is what truly unsettles them. When you enter a space, there's a palpable shift. Conversations may quiet, eyes may dart, whispers may follow you. All the while, you are simply present, not boasting, not forcing, just being. Yet, your very presence becomes a reflection, highlighting what they might be concealing within themselves. You don't need to speak. Your existence alone can disrupt their carefully constructed illusions. It's curious how simply existing authentically can draw unwanted attention. You might even question yourself, am I too much? Too reserved? Too intense? The answer is no, you are not too much. You are simply not easily imitated. You don't conform to their narrow definitions. You make people feel a sense of exposure simply by being genuine. This isn't a flaw, it's your strength. People sense your essence before they even know your name. They perceive your depth in a world often fixated on superficiality. And for those whose confidence relies on external validation, that can be unsettling. So, they might try to diminish you, mock you, or spread rumors to dull your light. But they often don't anticipate that you won't fade. You will adapt. You will evolve. You will rise. They attempt to find your vulnerabilities, but instead, they uncover your resilience. This is what troubles them, because they try to outmaneuver someone who inherently possesses inner fortitude. Don't be surprised when significant resistance follows your most subtle actions. You aren't striving to prove anything, yet somehow that causes them unease. You aren't seeking attention, yet you remain memorable. You aren't seeking validation, yet you command respect in any environment. This is the power of authentic presence. And this is where the principle of return begins its work. The energy they've directed at you, the criticism, the whispers, it doesn't simply disappear. It circulates, it amplifies, and it inevitably finds its way back. You don't need to respond in kind. This principle doesn't require your intervention. It simply requires your quiet persistence and unwavering focus. Let them speak, let them observe, let them mistake your calm for weakness. Because when the return occurs, it won't be a gentle knock. It will be precise. So, to those who try to diminish you, congratulations. You inadvertently helped someone stand taller. You didn't destroy anything. You revealed everything. And now, the return is underway with its own consequences. Your struggles are not coincidental. They are the inherent cost of possessing a strength that cannot be replicated. Some desire your influence, but not the difficulties you've overcome. They want your presence, but not the journey that forged it. This is why they might try to imitate your outward demeanor, but could never withstand the trials that shaped you. What you are experiencing is not simply unfairness. It's the weight that comes with carrying an inner blueprint unique to you. The pressure you feel isn't punishment. It's evidence, proof that you are the one who wasn't meant to conform, who doesn't falter under pressure, who radiates an essence others can't fully comprehend but still try to emulate. They don't grasp that your quietness is a sanctuary, that your experiences are infused with wisdom. They observe your self-assurance and attempt to mimic it, never understanding that every ounce of strength you possess was forged through adversity. The inner radiance they admire wasn't a gift. It was earned through moments of profound difficulty, through insincere support, through being doubted and dismissed. Understand that what challenges you now will ultimately strengthen you. More importantly, what is directed against you now is returning to its source in ways they cannot escape. Those who try to harm someone carrying this kind of inner depth often don't comprehend the repercussions of their actions. The principle of return operates without bias. It doesn't miss its mark. It simply unfolds, often unseen but always at the right time. This is why those who attempted to shame you often reveal their own inner turmoil. This is why those who tried to obstruct you often find themselves facing similar obstacles. You didn't need to seek retribution. You simply needed to persist. Because when the energy shifts, and it always does, it doesn't apologize. It simply reconfigures everything. So, next time someone questions your guarded nature or your discernment with your space, let them wonder. People protect what they value, and you carry something profound, something that envy cannot replicate. Your challenges weren't arbitrary. They were purposeful, measured, and each one activated a strength that now protects you from what once shook you. What overwhelmed others has built you, and those who sought to dismantle that will soon learn firsthand. You cannot undermine what has been forged through pressure, and you cannot wield a power you were never meant to possess. Let them observe. Let them experience the return, because the struggle may have been quiet, but the subsequent transformation speaks volumes. They mistakenly believe your silence signified defeat, your stillness surrender, and that by saying nothing, you had nothing left. But what they didn't comprehend is that your silence was never weakness. It was a signal. Many become uneasy in silence. They crave external validation, applause, attention. They speak to maintain relevance. They act just to be noticed. But you've mastered the art of stillness. You've learned there's a profound power that doesn't need to be loud to be felt. And when you cease to engage, they feel it deeply. Your silence is not passive. It's strategic. It's a recalibration before a significant shift. It's the gathering of strength before a storm. And whether they admit it or not, they sense that tension, that subtle pressure, that unshakable awareness that something is coming, and they have no control over its timing or form. You stop debating. You stop justifying yourself. You stop trying to prove your worth to those who already knew it but pretended otherwise. In that choice, you alter the dynamic. Suddenly, they're the ones observing your every move, trying to anticipate your next step, trying to decipher mind that no longer offers previews, because the silence communicates. And your silence is more profound than anything they could have imagined. The principle of return doesn't operate through chaos. It moves quietly, precisely, and perfectly timed. So, while they may be engaged in negativity, you are in alignment, you are focused, you are still, and that stillness is what unsettles them, because they cannot manipulate what they cannot predict, and they cannot prevail against someone who isn't even playing their game. When you embrace stillness, you stop fueling the negative cycle, and that's when return begins. The energy they projected no longer has a recipient. It bounces back, and when it doesn't gently tap, it impacts. If they believe your silence signifies their victory, let them continue in that delusion. Let them celebrate, for they are celebrating based on a false premise. Maintain your strength. Preserve your inner calm. Let them wonder what's coming, because something is indeed coming. And it's not just a fleeting moment. It's a profound shift, a return, and it bears their name. They believed you were breaking, but you were merely rebooting into a version of yourself they cannot compete with. They mistook your quietness for surrender, but true transformation happens without fanfare. It makes an impact. They saw the apparent cracks and celebrated prematurely. They thought you were crumbling under pressure, breaking under the weight of everything thrown at you. They misinterpreted your quiet periods, your withdrawn energy, your introspective spirit as a sign of defeat. What they didn't realize is that you were never breaking down. You were upgrading in silence. The world often equates strength with outward display. Constant posting, flexing, announcing every move. But that's not how profound growth occurs. We grow in quiet moments. We expand in stillness. We become more powerful during times when the world thinks we are becoming less. While they were counting you out, you were reconfiguring from within. Let them believe you are struggling. Let them think they've gained something. Because when the return arrives, they won't recognize who you become. The version of you that is emerging is something they won't know how to contend with. It's refined, recalibrated, powerful in the best sense. Transformations don't come easily. They come through pressure, through periods of introspection, through disappointments, through long nights where you questioned everything, including yourself. But you didn't give up. You persevered. You absorbed the blows and remained standing. And that is what distinguishes you from those who try to break you. You were built to rebuild. What they didn't account for is that resilient individuals are fundamentally different. We don't collapse, we shed. We release what no longer serves us. And every time we are pushed to our limits, we emerge with clearer perception, stronger resolve, and deeper understanding. They attempted to bury you in negativity, but what they did was cultivate the ground for your next level of growth. And that's where the principle of return begins to manifest. The very people who observed your difficulties as entertainment are about to witness the repercussions of their premature judgment. This principle doesn't play favorites. It plays accurately. It brings back everything they dished out, multiplied. Not because you wish for it, but because energy doesn't dissipate. It circulates. While they remain stagnant, caught in their own cycles, you transformed into something unrecognizable. You upgraded into someone they no longer have a means or understanding to dismantle. The version they targeted no longer exists. So, next time you feel like you're coming undone, remember this. You're not breaking down. You're breaking through. You're outgrowing the limitations they tried to impose. And the return for their actions is not just a lesson. It's watching you rise into everything they swore you'd never become. Nothing silences a disruptive influence faster than a calm spirit. They cannot disturb. There's a level of inner peace you can achieve that becomes more impactful than every insult, every falsehood, every deceptive interaction. And when you reach it, it can be truly disorienting for those who expected your downfall. They anticipated chaos. They expected you to react emotionally. They expected you to self-destruct, just to give them something to criticize. But instead, you became more composed. You moved more intelligently. You chose healing over reaction. And that was a definitive move. Those who attempt to undermine you are often not trying to cause physical harm. They are aiming for your mental well-being, your spirit, your focus. Because if they cannot prevail through truth, they will try to disrupt your inner stability. But the principle of return doesn't operate through loud confrontation or explicit retribution. It works through stillness. It works through the elegance of quiet strength. It works through the undeniable power of rising while others predicted your decline. When your peace becomes your response, it resonates more powerfully than any conflict they try to initiate. They don't know how to contend with someone who doesn't retaliate. They don't know how to interpret a person who chooses stillness while they're actively trying to incite discord. That is when their discomfort begins, not yours. Your calm highlights their turmoil. Your peace reveals their desperation. Your silence becomes a mirror they cannot look into without confronting themselves fully. People often perceive peace as passive or weak, a form of retreat. But genuine peace, the kind you cultivate, is profoundly impactful. It's power without needing perform, truth without needing explanation. It's choosing not to engage in battles you've already overcome simply by outlasting them. You didn't have to expose them. They expose themselves by their inability to leave you alone. This is why the principle return can be so impactful for those who target others. Because while they are attempting to draw you into their turmoil, you become the calm they were unprepared for, not through overt action, but through a peace that declares, I am still here, I am still rising, and your efforts no longer hold sway. Let them wonder why you are so serene. Let them obsess over how you remain grounded while they tried everything to unravel you. That confusion, that is a return. That is the consequence. That is the exact moment they realize they were never the ones prevailing. You don't engage in conflict like others. Your quiet strength is sacred. Your inner energy is exceptional. Your peace is a profound outcome, veiled in grace. And that is the kind of resolution they never anticipate. Every hidden mark of struggle is evidence that you overcame what would have crushed others. Your challenges are quiet validations, proof that you outlasted what was intended to break you. Some people only perceive your composure, your demeanor, your strength. They don't see the true cost. They don't see the nights you persisted through pain, so intense it might have caused others to give up. They see how you carry yourself today, and they forget that the person you're now was forged in intense experiences. But you haven't forgotten, have you? You remember every unseen battle. You remember being let down by those you trusted. You remember smiling through moments of despair just to maintain a facade for others. You remember silently bearing burdens because no one ever inquired about your well-being. They simply assumed you would manage, and you did. And that's what truly baffles them. You managed. The things that sought to destroy you would have utterly devastated them. The difficulties you integrated into your strength, they couldn't even approach without faltering. That's why they don't comprehend your quietness. It's not emptiness. It's rich with experiences, with healing, with a strength they will never fully grasp. You didn't escape the fire. You walked through it. Resilient individuals are not strangers to hardship. You don't flaunt your past struggles, but you don't deny them either. You've outgrown the need to prove anything. You don't broadcast your healing process. You don't explain your periods of introspection. You heal in private. You experience profound moments behind closed doors. And yet, they seem bewildered when you emerge even stronger. What they often overlook is that challenges don't weaken you. They make you unstoppable. Every time you were underestimated, mistreated, misrepresented, or pushed to your limit, you didn't just survive, you evolved. And evolution comes with its own process. While they were content with negativity, you were building inner resilience. While they were relishing your perceived setbacks, you were analyzing your path forward. That's why the principle of return is unfailing. You didn't wish harm. You didn't retaliate. You didn't engage in their games. And that is precisely why circumstances align to honor you when everything settles. Because when someone tries to break what has already been rebuilt through adversity, they don't just cause harm, they trigger a return. And let it be clear, the return doesn't just whisper, it impacts, it corrects, it balances the scales that were skewed against you. So, next time you see your reflection, don't just look at your face, look at the evidence. Those experiences, they are not flaws, they are your credentials. You didn't just survive the storm, you became the calm within it. They attempted to undermine a resilient spirit. And now the principle return is already in motion. The balance always shifts. And when it does, the structures built on deception may crumble. You were their target when you were quiet. Now, you are a reminder that quietness doesn't imply surrender. It implies strategy. What they didn't realize is that the game they thought they were winning was being observed every step of the way, in silence. And now, the situation is about to be profoundly altered. Let them speak. Let them mock. Let them believe you faltered. Those lacking foresight often mistake a pause in your journey for defeat. But here's the unexpected truth. You weren't stagnant. You were learning. And while they were attempting to overshadow you, you were gaining wisdom. While they were plotting, you were preparing. Every time you remained silent when you had evidence to speak, that was discipline. Every time you held your tongue when they provoked you, that was strength. And now, the energy they use to try and dismantle you is circulating back, like a force that hasn't forgotten its origin. This is what many don't teach. The principle of return doesn't concern itself with who initiated it. It only acknowledges what was put into motion. So, when you're focused on your path, dedicated to growth, and someone attempts to introduce envy, sabotage, gossip, or manipulation into your sphere, that energy must go somewhere. And it never truly affects the one who remains grounded. You were never engaged in trivial competition with these individuals. You were building a lasting foundation while they were preoccupied with minor conflicts. And now that circumstances are shifting, don't feel regret when their constructs fail. Don't flinch when they face what they tried to impose upon you. The principle return doesn't just restore, it redefines. It places you in positions they tried to exclude you from. It grants you peace in the very places they wish for your despair. It shows them that even after perceived delays, you didn't lose, you gained wisdom. So when the balance shifts, and it always does, it won't merely reverse positions. It will reveal the true foundation. It will show who is truly prepared for the weight of genuine purpose. And you won't just be on the other side of the situation. You'll be in a position of strength they claimed you'd never reach. This is the element they failed to consider. Return is not about retribution. It's about correction. And the correction always arrives quietly when you least expect it. When you're already ascending with no desire to look back, let them feel it. Let the consequences fall where they belong. Because when the return arrives, it doesn't just knock, it powerfully asserts itself. And by then, you will be too elevated to even notice the impact. If this message resonated with you, consider supporting by engaging with this content. Your support helps share these powerful truths. And remember to share this with others who might need this message.